If you're serious about stacking wins, you need to fuel like a champion. EFX Sports manufactures its own products and triple tests them to ensure they're banned substance free, so you know what's on the label is what's in the bottle. Their patented Kre-Alkalyn creatine provides power without the bloating associated with other creatines. And Carbs delivers fast energy without the crash. Perfect for supplementing your champion habits. Hit up EFXsports.com and use code WIN for 15% off and free shipping. And Brian will even throw in a digital copy of his book, Formulated to Win. That's EFXsports.com, code WIN. This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, stop watching and start winning. We talk with Brian Andrews of EFX Sports about champion habits and his winning formula. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald. I appreciate the warm welcome. I'm really excited today.
I am too. Yeah. So do you want to say why we're excited?
Well, I'm getting more and more excited about doing interviews, and especially when we get to talk to somebody who's making a difference in my life before I even talk to them. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So with basically, like, we have a guest today, Brian Andrews from EFX Sports. We'll get into how I know him and all those things, but without any further ado, here is Brian. Brian, welcome to the podcast. Say hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, this is fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on. You are here because basically you wrote this little book, Formulated to Win. And you sent it to me, signed copy, which I so appreciate. Now you've unlocked this whole new thing that I want. I want signed copies of books. But I actually had read the ebook version of it first. And now I'm going through the second time and transferring all the things I've highlighted. But before we get into all that, let me just introduce how we know each other. So I don't know if it was 2009, 2010, something like that.
Sounds about right.
I started working for you at EF. Well, what was back then was All American EFX, which is now EFX Sports. And so, Aaron, I don't even know if you know this part, but Brian is really, I would say, who taught me most of the things I know about marketing. He definitely got me down that path, started me down that path. I knew all the production side of things, but I didn't know the strategy and, different tactics and everything. And so my 5 or so years at EFX was really the cutting of my teeth in marketing. And then from there, Brian and his brother-in-law, Bruce, which is also a really good friend, we started Creatively Blind, which was the marketing agency, and did that for a few years. And it was just those times in my life where I look back and I'm I'm so glad that I'm past it, but man, I would never give up this time, look back on those times very, very fondly. So I think, did I say all that right, Brian? Am I messing anything up?
I don't know. No one's going to know anyway, right?
There you go. Right. So give us just kind of a quick synopsis of, who you are, what you do, and what, led you to write this book.
Yeah, sure. So again, Brian Andrews, president of EFX Sports. Actually, it's coincidence that we're doing this. This month is our 20th anniversary of being in business, which in this industry is actually a pretty big milestone, because I can tell you I've seen literally hundreds of companies like us start, some just skyrocket up doing millions and millions of dollars, and then they're you blink and they're gone. It's what happened? So obviously there's a lot of reasons for that, but all I'm just saying is we've weathered the storm. We've hit a lot of cool milestones, and we're still kicking and breathing. And I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, moved to California about 30 years ago, been married almost 30 years myself, 3 kids. To make a long story short for the book we're going to be discussing. So I've always been a student of success, mindset. Just something with that in my, late teen years clicked with me. And so, it's like a rabbit hole. It's like anything like golf or anything you get kind of obsessive with, you just start going deep into those industries. You see who the top players are and who says what. And sometimes this guy or girl says something that But then the other person does their little spin on it. You go, oh my gosh, it hit you like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And so again, it's just something that I've always believed that if you just understand your mindset, which is so cliche, but that is what drives everything, whether it's going to be just, being a better person, having success in business, whatever it is you're going to do, it's going to be driven by that. And especially Aaron will understand this, is there's a lot of baggage that can get stuck in there from who knows what happened in your past, or just, if you can't get past that hump, you're going to be perpetually stuck and frustrated and just wondering why I can't go to the quote unquote next level. So one of the things we did is we came up with a tagline for this brand called Formulated. So I wanted to give it a little more depth, but I came up with that because we're very big on the science end of things. We have a fantastic formulator. He knows Dr. Jeff Galani.
Yeah.
But it also has a dual meaning. So the products are formulated to win scientifically, but then formulated to win. What athlete does not want to win? I mean, that's why you do what you do.
Right.
And I guess when you say formulated implies too, there's some thought to it, not just luck, not just, I tried a little harder than him or her, but there's a process to it. So I got this inspiration maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm like, what if we really doubled down on our tagline and built it into almost like a philosophy, something that's so far above and it supersedes who we are as a brand, so that there's more depth and meaning to it other than, get bigger arms. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's above and beyond. And it's like, I know there's this whole group of people out there that are so interested in this type of material. And it's kind of weird that it comes from a supplement brand, but at the same time, you're trying to improve yourself, your performance, your appearance, whatever it is. Why not have an overarching philosophy that builds your mind? You're not just the body, but you also have a fine-tuned mind, and you know how to win. Because I talk about truth bombs, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but one thing I've learned in all the years of, I started working out when I was 16 and then played soccer and, Little League and all that. I personally believe, number one, people are stockpiled with potential that they just don't know it's there. And you need like that coach or someone else who just sees something in you that says, you don't get it. You've got something.
Yeah.
And the world's not going to tell you that, right? It's always stepping on each other to try to go up and to succeed. So I believe, to me, sports/fitness is like the ultimate training ground for life. Mm-hmm. The discipline it takes, the just that thing that you got to make yourself do this. And when you start seeing the results, it becomes addictive. And how do you work with others on a team? Even like golf or skateboarding, that is more of a singular thing, but it's still the same process of all those things have to collide. And then I talk about in there, I believe too, that if you look at a lot of very successful business people, not all of them, but people that come out of like, say, pro football or whatever, and start these companies, just dominate because they already have, number one, the mindset, but they also have those skills and that innate ability to win, to make things happen. So sorry, I've got a little long-winded there, but that's the foundational part of it. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
yeah, no. So one thing came up. Sorry, I loved hearing the idea that you said formulated to win. We are a supplement company, and we're trying to help people win. And I'm like, my God, you're supplementing them physically and emotionally. Like it makes sense to do both. And I know CJ and I have talked before where I'm like, dude, I wish I could just put a bunch of vitamins, not just regular vitamins, but supplements that would actually help people's mindset, because there actually are those. I'm sure you've been mixing and putting stuff in there, but I'm like, it makes sense to tie that together. We're so compartmentalized in this country that we think, oh no, well, we're doing what's well-being. Okay, so mentally or physically. And I love that you're going, it's the same.
Right. Well, with very OG guys in the whole, self-help, whatever you want to call it, industry, was Jim Rohn. If you ever look up any of his stuff, he's been, in fact, his protege was Tony Robbins. And one of the things he said, and listening to a bazillion of his, tapes, but now, whatever. He said, one of the biggest determinants of part of your success is how do you feel? And that just hit me. I'm like, That's so true, because you deal with people with depression. I mean, they just can't get past it. Just feel, I crud today. I don't have any energy. Well, how are you going to be able to function at even an average level? At that point, you've got to consider that basic health component. I'm talking about physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. One of the first things I ask people when they come in and they tell me how bad they're feeling, I'm like, are you getting enough sleep? What is your diet? How much you're eating fast food? You sleep 3 hours a night. Of course you feel anxious and you feel depressed. Like, why would you 100%, not?
100%.
You have to change that first. And then, so I get it. Yeah. I'm excited to hear some more.
It took me entirely too long to figure out that I have to work out for my mental health. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously I need to do it for my physical health too, but the days that I don't work out first thing in the morning are harder days, plain and simple. There's something about doing something hard, doing something you don't want to. And I actually, it's worse in the winter because it's colder, in the garage, but I will say, I don't want to work out. And then I'll say it out loud. And then I just say, do it anyway. Right. And
going back to what I said about the truth bomb, you just nailed it right there. What you're basically doing is you're proving to yourself over and over and over and over, and laying those, in your brain, and like this layer after layer, that I can do this. Like, well, if I can do this, what else could I apply that to? That's what I'm talking about. That's that rhythm that takes time. I mean, I always tell people, you want the shortcut? The shortcut is you just got to do it. There is no real shortcut to it. Now, you can talk to other people that have more knowledge and experience than you. Like I always say, we were in business 20 years. I'll bet you, knowing what I know right now, if we started, I could do the same thing probably about 5 years of just grinding.
Nice.
Just knowing all the, what we did wrong and how it goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's actually brings up
to a show like this specifically, because you guys are constantly sharing this work, this didn't. I can come in and take all those good points and then say, wow, I'm going to go even faster than they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Here are our failures. Learn from us.
Right.
But you talk about it in your equation, like friction. Like, it's not a matter of what, like, if you run into friction, you absolutely will run into friction.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so you hit on a key point. I call it the winning formula.
Yeah.
The key to that whole thing is winning. Now, here's what I mean by winning. This is where everything goes off the rails. From a societal standpoint, when you talk about success and winning, people are almost always going to default to how much money you make, the size of your house, how pretty is your wife or girlfriend. I mean, you just start filling in the blank.
Yeah.
The problem with that, and we've seen this countless times, to say the entertainment industry, is people who have it all, then you find out they are suicidal, addicted to pills, whatever. Why is that? Because they are taking someone else's definition of success and winning and putting that at the focal point, when that's not really what's fulfilling them. There are people that make just above poverty, and they're the happiest people you will ever meet. They don't care about any of the trappings of society. So all I'm trying to say is, the key to this formula to work is you first have to define what that means to you, not me, not anyone else. Now, you might work with someone who says, hey, you can bump that a little because I think you're shooting too low. I'm just saying it has to be a personal win. It's not the default. See, if you don't have a Lamborghini, you're a loser. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like, I think we all have to have, like you're saying, like our own version of success. What does success look like to you? There's typically a balance between freedom and money, right? And so, like, personally, I lean to the freedom side. That's really why I do what I do, is because I can kind of set my own schedule. It's not that I'm a rebel, but I find that it's hard to be led when I want to move faster than the leader, and a lot of that probably has to do with impatience, and let's not even go there. But that whole thing, like, money's great, right? But I don't care what that job is. It could be, well into the six figures. If I'm not going to be fulfilled by that job, it's not worth any amount of money.
Sure. Well, there are plenty of people that make, crazy money that people could even only ever dream of. And they're miserable. Not all of them. I've always told people, because there's all this stuff where you want to argue, money's evil, and, capitalism versus whatever else. At the end of the day, to me, money is nothing more than a tool.
Yeah.
Think of like a gun. I can use it to hunt and feed my family, defend myself, or I could go rob a bank with it. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's how you use it. And that's the problem with money. There are people who are jerks because they think, oh, I'm better than Aaron. I make way more than that guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's a stupid way to look at it. And by the way, when I talk about the winning formula, without going into every little nuance of it, it really comes down to two sides, which is potential times progress.
Yeah.
So everything you always say, oh, yeah, so much potential. But what does that mean? So I broke it down even further to say, potential side is your capability, your resources, and your mindset. Those things are all multiplied. You got to remember, a zero in any one of those will get you zero, right?
Yeah.
So potential is determined by your capabilities, right? What sort of natural innate abilities do you have? It could be your strength, your endurance. I mean, whatever that capability is, it can always be improved.
Mm-hmm.
And the resources you have access to better tools, better mentors, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then you multiply that by the mindset part. And this is another nuance I want to explain. You hear about the growth mindset, the winning, being a winner. I talk about a champion mindset. Now, this is the difference. A winner wins this competition, but a champion wins all of them. Does that make sense? So you look at the NBA, you've got and go down. The champion won all those games to be a champion. That's what I'm talking about. Not winning here and there. I'm talking about being a champion.
Yeah.
It's all those wins stacked up. That's a different sort of frame of mind. I'm just going to get through today and win, whereas a champion repeats it.
Yeah.
So that's critical, but that's the potential side. That's how you look at it. You multiply that by the progress side. Now, here's another thing, and I know Aaron will appreciate this. I guarantee everybody who you talk to that's, I don't know, my relationship, I can't, do my job, whatever. It really comes down to one thing. They're dormant. They're not making progress. That is one of the key factors I noticed. I had a father who his whole life had to take medication. He had brain chemistry issues and suffered from depression. And I could see that element there. So that's part of the reason I know about this. But I define progress as your effort over time times consistency. So that is very important. If you're going to be on a fitness program in that 12 weeks, your effort is how many times are you going over the 12 weeks. But then the consistency is what makes it work. You could do a 2-week binge where you're going every day, 3 times a day, and then you don't do anything for the next 9 weeks. It's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to work. The final part is then you have to subtract out of that piece of it the friction. That would always be there. There is no such thing. You want to reduce it as much, but you have to know there are going to be roadblocks. You're going to get injured. Something's going to happen. Your kid gets sick. I mean, you can fill it up. And those are always internal or external. So factors you can't control, but your mindset you can see it all placed together. You multiply potential times progress, and you now have what your quote unquote win is. If that makes sense. Again, I don't want to go too complex. You can read it. I can more example, but that's really the whole thing. And then what I did is I started thinking, let me see if this really works. So I know in the book I use, for example, like Apple. If you look at them and break them down into these components, you can see how it all fits. If someone brings you a business deal, you can run through this and just say, okay, here's all the parts of it. And then how do we now supercharge it? And that's where I talk about the 3 I's and the 4 D's.
Yeah.
The I's are how you maximize potential, and that's increasing your capability. You can learn new skills. You can train. You can refine. You can get better. You improve your resources, right? Buy a faster computer, a better mic, a better camera, that sort of thing. That's going to increase the potential that you have. Then you instill that mindset, that champion mindset. You're feeding yourself shows like this. You're reading great books, listening to podcasts, whatever, to continue to, because you've got to hit all 3 of those. And again, 0 times any of those, guess what? It's 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the key is to drive that progress. There's 4 Ds: deadlines, discipline, discomfort, and dedication.
Yeah.
You're using time, you're maximizing time and using it as a weapon in your advantage and not against yourself. So you set a non-negotiable deadline. I will have this in 10 weeks, whatever. You know how it works. If you don't tell somebody, hey, I'll call you. Yeah, right. How about, can you call me Tuesday between 9 and 12? That's a deadline.
Yeah.
Discipline. You have to have those unshakable habits. There is 0 ways around that. There is no magic pill. There's no shortcut. Discipline is what separates a true winner from a loser. You have to have that component. Discomfort. You have to embrace change. And Aaron, I know you know this. People just do not like change, even if they know for a fact it will make their life better. Even if it's an easy change, they just don't. Inertia is such a powerful force. Then finally, it's dedication. I have a do or die resolve that this will happen and nothing will stop me. That's what's going to drive that side of the equation. You put all that together. If you just look at this, like I said, it's a formula. Suddenly it's like everything becomes so clear. And like I said, I didn't want this to be overly complex. I mean, there has to be some, you can't get around some of the complexity, but it's very, very big on systems and formula type stuff. My brain just always compartmentalizes things. And I've always had this ability to take like vast amounts of information and then distill it down and try to simplify it. Because if I go like, hey, there's got to be someone else like me that likes that. Not everybody appreciates it. Some people don't take notes, so they can just do stuff out of their head. Not me. I like to see stuff in a very logical flow where it's just like, aha, I can get that same result because I follow it's a recipe. As simple as that. You make the same thing.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you talked about was discipline. And this is, again, one of those, I wish it hadn't taken me so long to realize, but discipline makes all the difference. When you're not motivated, when you're not inspired, discipline says you have to do it anyway. And that has been one of the biggest changes in my life in the last few years that has really made a difference. And so one of the things that really, first of all, you did a great job of, not to give you too big of a head here, but you did a great job of taking the complex formula, right? Which is, all of the letters, the, C times R times M, the potential, and then times, E over T times, CO minus friction, and distilling it down to just progress or potential times progress. I like how I can go back because I'm not going to remember the whole thing. But I can go back and I can say potential times progress equals winning. And then when I need to, I can dive deep into where's my potential? Where's it come from? Right. And I'd never put this together. And you said it today, like a 0 in any of those multipliers cancels everything else out. Like that's so good. That's so good. And again, this is from my notes. So, I'm going to read it, but you said the roadblock to success isn't a lack of talent or ability, but self-deception. We mistakenly see ourselves wrongly. Like we see ourselves in a different way. And I just think, and that's probably paraphrasing, right? But I just think, man, that hit me square between the eyes, and I read this, I think I read the book back in March. It was somewhere around there, it was March or February. And that's already like the perfect time of year to read it because any New Year's resolutions are starting to fade, any motivation that was there is starting to fade. And then it's time to get real. Like, okay, well, am I going to keep going? Am I going to push through or am I going to let friction slow me down? So anyway,
I have to tell you that line hit me because it put all the pieces together. I know I talk a lot in analogies, but so like your formula, I just keep imagining your formula is basically like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So there's bread, there's peanut butter and jelly. And you go, yeah, makes sense. You put peanut butter and jelly and bread together, bam, you got yourself a sandwich. You're a winner. But it's like, we don't necessarily always have to break down that bread is flour and yeast and salt and water and mixture and time and baking. And unless you need to make bread better, you can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich good. You could win. But when you want to be a champion, you have to make sourdough bread. You have to make homemade jam. You have to like really break it down and fine tune each and every single one of those ingredients to make it the best version that it can be.
Yes.
Sorry, I got sidetracked on my ADHD. But going back to the self-deception part, holy crap, dude, that one hit me. I know I teach it. So I talk about it a lot, but I don't apply it as often as I should. And it made an enormous difference for me because when you stated like, oh, okay, professional athlete, he was a professional athlete, then he moves into another business. He's coming in with that gladiator mindset, like that champion mindset. Like I'm gonna dominate over here too. Well, he's starting in a business he's never been in, but he comes in with the winning attitude before he or she comes in with the winning attitude beforehand. And I've started doing something, and I keep thinking to myself, man, when I get big, I'm going to reach out to other people and I'm going to show them how big I am. And then we're going to collaborate and we're going to do some other things. And then when I heard that line that I'm already big, I don't have the proof yet. I'm already a winner. I just don't have the audience, the volume, the channel, the something. It isn't there yet. But it's never going to get there until I accept that I'm already a champion. I just now need to show everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And just to expand on that, a lot of people, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, you get the perfect point. A lot of these people you'll talk to, I'm sure you, again, I'm going to default to you because you're going to have the most experience in this realm, is, well, let's talk about physical fitness. You know what? Back in high school, I was an athlete. It's like, I was, right? I was fit. I was a captain of the football team, whatever that is. My thing is, you don't take that badge off. If you start and reframe right now, I am an athlete, then it kind of makes you look at yourself a little different. Like, well, so what would an athlete do? Well, it goes all back through this again. They're going to have that discipline, that dedication, that gladiator type attitude and mindset. And then you said, when I talk about self-deception, I was thinking about this, like, what is the thing? And it's a lot of people can't see who they really are. And that's why you need mentors, people, coach, whatever, outside of yourself, or you read a book, whatever, that kind of helps unveil that. So you see yourself as someone who could be a millionaire, or again, whatever that winning looks like for you. It's self-deception. They just don't see who they really are or know who they really are. And a lot of your work, I'm sure, is helping kind of uncover that and reframe. So it's like, they don't tell themselves over, oh, I'm just a loser. Oh, I could never have a body like that. I could never this, that. It's like, you shut it off before you even did anything. You're trapped in that realm. You've got to get rid of that garbage.
Yeah. Man, like, again, one of the things that like just hit me square between the eyes was, this celebration could have been yours, but you settled for the highlight reel of other people's dreams. I mean, you have so many good like one-liners and just things in there. I'm like, this is you just need to read the book into a camera and cut those little pieces out, and that's your social posting for the rest of the year. You've got so many. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I remember. I think it starts with talking about being in the stands and you're cheering, but that's not your victory, because you're seeing the team down there popping champagne and confetti, and it's like, you're just a face in that crowd.
Yeah.
And it's like, you were not born to just be the face in the crowd. You should be that athlete out on the field, and you can make it happen. It's just getting the bridge from, okay, that sounds good, to actually doing it. It's that belief that you have to build. And it becomes, for some people, very incrementally, and that's okay. But start to make progress. Just take the first step and prove it to yourself that you can do it. And then as you take this journey at the end, guess what? Other people are going to see what you did. They're going to see, like, there's something about you. Something's changed. You're getting promotions at work or whatever it is. Now you can turn around and pass the baton to the next person and show them. Right. And my big famous line is there, you can do it too. I want that to be my legacy. I'm the guy that said, you can do it too. You can do it. Yeah. Just try. We all fail. We all suck at something. That's life.
Oh my God. Speaking, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sure, but I think I understood you to say, like, failure is it's inevitable, right? But it's fertilizer, unless I'm mistaking what you were saying. Oh, that's God, dude. I'm okay with failing. I've failed a lot of times on my way there, and I say failures are lessons, and I'm a firm believer in the way we describe things, define it, and that determines how we feel about it. I love the idea of calling it fertilizer, because first and foremost, failure feels like shit. Sorry. We're not supposed to, but it does, which is in fact fertilizer, right? So yes, it stinks. Yes, it's no fun. Yes, it's not great, but we use that to propel us forward. And so, yes, we may learn a lesson from it. We may not, but either way, it fertilizes us to keep going. It isn't the stopping point. We don't stop there. We keep going.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's all framing, right? It's perspective. It's a new way to take the same thing and just look at it from this angle where suddenly it clicks. This is not in there, but it's what you just said. You probably heard FOSS, fear of failure, fear of success. See, there are people that don't move forward. They're afraid they might actually succeed. And then what? Now I've got these people wanting to talk to me and do podcast interviews. And and that paralyzes you as much as, but if I try and I fail, I'm going to feel stupid. I might lose my life savings or whatever. It's you're stuck in the middle of that. And you can see it. It's not just fear of failure. It's fear of being successful.
Boy,
Oh, yeah.
that one hits home a little too close.
Yeah, it absolutely swings.
Successful, right? So therefore, self-sabotage.
Right.
This is so we don't need to go down this whole rabbit hole, but yeah, absolutely. That's like it is so easy. Like I'm not afraid of failure at all because I know I'll learn from it, right? I think you should fail often, but fail small. Like don't go for big failures. Like find out if something works quickly. Fail often, fail quickly, fail small. But I tell myself these things and I tell other people these things, but how much am I talking about success? Ooh,
right.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
And stepping into it and doing the things like that a successful person would do.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get on the couch right now, Aaron, but so let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
But dude, again, Brian, thank you for the read. Honestly, it came at a perfect time for me. And it's awesome going back through it and, getting the highlights and just it invigorates me. I will say that. So, and the other thing that I think that, I took from it was like, this isn't just about me. Right. And like, obviously this can improve my life, but then how can I take this same stuff? How can I be the champion for someone else? Which is really what this podcast, what I want it to be, is I want it to give people value. I want to bring on people like you and like encourage people to pursue their dreams, to push harder, to go where they maybe wouldn't have gone otherwise. And so, thank you for being on to just, help with that. But let's talk a little bit about EFX. So,
I was going to say, let's touch on the supplements a little bit, right?
Okay. So obviously, like you guys made the branding change, probably what was it, 6-7 years ago from All American EFX to EFX Sports. But just give us an idea. What is EFX Sports? What is your meaningful difference? Your, USP? This is your platform. Go for it.
Formulate to win. There's a difference. No. Okay. So basically, we are a company that we're very steeped in the scientific side of it. Let me take a step back. Most of the supplement companies, and this is what people don't understand, are marketing companies. What do I mean by that? They do not make their own product. They contract with a contract manufacturer, and basically it's a handful of people who know how to market well. They may not even know the scientific side, but they just know how to brand, get the word out, go to different shows, whatever, to sell product. Is that really a bad thing? I mean, not necessarily, but it's probably 95 to 98% of this industry.
Wow.
Easily. That means they don't have full control over the production, the quality side, because to the average consumer, you're going to look at, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, of course, that's what we do. You're going to look at the packaging. Hey, it's in a reputable store. This must be a good product. How do you know? I'm just asking that. I used to ask myself that. How do you know? And so part of the way we started our company was what kind of company could we start if I had this to do all over again, because I was a consumer, I want to be that company that I would have wanted, which is a little more transparent, that I know when I'm buying, whatever is on that label, it's inside that. Because I can tell you, I've seen some mammoth companies, CJ, you've seen some of this too.
Yeah.
They've done, third party tests on something that's like, wait, this is like 10% of the label claim. And people rush to trends and they want to get on it. One that's big right now are the gummies, specifically for like creatine products.
Okay.
I can tell you, because I know how those are made, they are very few that meet even close to label claim.
Wow.
It tastes good. It's a novel type way of taking something. I'm not saying the vitamin side is bad. I'm just saying specifically for creatine, because we were dipping our toe into it. And once we got a little deeper, we pulled the whole project because we're like, we cannot do this with excellence and quality where you guys would feel good about getting it. It's going to taste amazing, but it's not going to do what we say. Right. And we're big on authenticity. What you see is what you get. So our product line is built that way, where we have 3 actually in-house labs now. And that's everything from R&D to testing. We've got millions of dollars. And by the way, we are a subsidiary of All American Pharmaceutical. That's a 150,000 square foot facility in Billings, Montana, that we have 100% control of every piece of production, from material coming in, testing it, production, testing it after, weighing it, making sure we are spot on for label claim. Because to me, the quality ultimately is what's going to sell. I can trick you into buying my product once or twice to give you like, this one's even cooler. I'm going to try that. Or it didn't quite live up to it.
Right.
So we just go all in and double, triple down on the quality aspect, which on the surface is boring. Most people don't get it because they assume this stuff is all the same. And I'm telling you, it is not. For 20 years, I can promise you, is not all done the same. Now, it's not to say everyone else sucks and we're great. It's more that I just know what we do. And the FDA has certain standards for general manufacturing practices.
Mm-hmm.
We take those and go way above to this level that we're not required to do. It costs more. Our product is cheap. But I just can go to sleep at night knowing when I say that protein has 26 grams, it's 26 grams.
Right.
And you might give it to your kids or whoever, it's safe. So that's kind of the long-winded way to say we're really more about the quality side and then let the results speak for itself. I've had people use our stuff like it's just something different about it. Like, oh, yeah, really? I can teach you why, but I'm not going to step on someone else to make them look bad or anything like that. And 20 years later, we're going at it. I mean, we're moved in that quote unquote legacy brand realm. We're not big on trends. We don't have like 17,000 influencers you see online. And a lot of those guys or girls, they'll say my brand is great, but then this guy will pay them more. So now their brand is great. It's just kind of like, that's how it works. We know that, we realize that, but that's how it goes.
So one of the ways that, like, the first project I remember working with EFX on, is before I actually came on, was the factory tour, right? So we got to go to Billings. Yeah. And I mean, I remember like we had to suit up. I had to wear booties on my shoes, like, hairnet, like full scrubs, face mask, just to go back into the manufacturing facility. Like, and this was 15 years ago, so I imagine
none of that is
awesome. Yeah. So I know one of your flagship products probably still is Kre-Alkalyn. Give us just a, brief breakdown of what Kre-Alkalyn is. I know it's creatine. Like, we've talked about it on the show before because we were talking about the benefits to your brain of taking creatine, but just give us a quick breakdown of what Kre-Alkalyn is. So
starting from the beginning, you have a diverse audience, I'm sure. So creatine is a substance your body naturally produces every day. You would cease to live without it. Yep. You get it exogenously through meats and things like that. But basically what's happening is in the engine of a muscle cell, there's the mitochondria. This is the engine, and it's fed by creatine phosphate. So that creatine is what allowed you to do a curl. It allowed you to run, to be explosive, and those types of movements. That's the very basic stuff. You'll learn this in biology and in high school or whatever. So what was discovered some years ago is if you take in more, like through a powdered form, for example, you can increase that cell's ability to have more there. So you're going to get extra explosive, more reps, etc. So all creatine that's synthetic manufactured, it starts life as creatine monohydrate. That's what you're going to see on most shelves anywhere in the world. That's because that's the result of the cake recipe. It's always going to be creatine monohydrate. I don't care what it is. So in time, one thing Dr. Jeff Bellini figured out because he was manufacturing it is he would test it and go, wait a minute, why is there creatinine? That's the byproduct. That's the exhaust. You go to the doctor, they do your urinalysis. They're looking at your creatinine levels. There's a certain range that you have to be in. If you're above that, for whatever reason, that's the first signs of kidney damage, that sort of thing. Be extremely careful about that because your kidneys just cannot process waste material out. So again, spent creatine, the exhaust is creatinine. And he was seeing it in the actual product before it was even activated in water or ingested. So what he figured out was it's unstable because there's a chemical reaction that happens when you put it in a juice, you put it in a fluid or that sort of thing. And he tried to figure out is there a way to stop that? When he figured out it was all based on pH. Creatine monohydrate is the water component. So the pH is on any creatine is going to be about 6.5. He figured out if he were to raise it up, buffering it 12 to 14, it stops that. So it stays creatine. In other words, when you ingest it, and now you can use a much smaller dose to get an effect out at the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So
this is buffered creatine monohydrate is a very simplistic way to say what that is. And we've been selling that since 2000. Well, 2001 is when it first hit the market. We were founded as a brand in 2005, and we've sold millions of bottles all over the world.
Now, is that still a patented ingredient?
Yeah, the patent's still there.
Awesome. I mean, so that tells you one thing. It's not just hey, trust us. This works. It's not just listen to us. I mean, this is an actual like patented ingredient. You made it through that process. That's really cool.
Sure.
So I know kind of along those lines, Dr. Galini, Jeff, he's that guy. Like he comes up with these new things. I know Car-Alkalyn was, I think for the last year or two that, I was still a part of EFX. It was kind of, that's when we started and it started taking off. What is Car-Alkalyn and what does that do?
So that's our second best selling product easily. And it's just one of those things that the word gets out, people try it, and friends are recommending one to another. Car-Alkalyn is a carbohydrate, but it's a specialized carbohydrate. It's derived from corn, rice, and potato, non-GMO. Everyone always asks that for whatever reason. But basically, it's built in such a way that it has a specific molecular weight. So what I'm trying to say is, if you take a bunch of sugar, it's going to hit your bloodstream, you're going to kind of spike, and then get more like this. But if you eat complex carbs, right, breads, pastas, potato, whatever, it's more of a slow entry and a slow effect coming on the other end. So especially if, let's say, for an endurance athlete, they have to have glycogen, the fuel of muscle cells, when you're doing especially endurance.
Yeah.
What he figured out was a way to make it where it will basically dump through the stomach and hit your bloodstream. We've actually got true like blood draws to see this. Sugar and Car-Alkalyn hit about the same speed.
Okay.
But it burned a longer, smoother tail.
Okay.
You kind of get that complex carbohydrate effect from taking a powder. Now, what's interesting is
bioavailable like that.
Yes, that's the idea. So you don't get the crash. Not like your kids, give them a Snickers, and then they're like, but you don't want the effect that you're going to be doing weight training or running or whatever it's going to be. So that's the key behind that product. It's a lot of complex science behind it, and it's funny because carbs come and go as being the enemy, and all these diets come and go. You see it. If you just look at how the body chemistry works, just basic chemistry, it just makes sense because that's what your body uses. And again, I always just say this, not to get way off topic, but any diet that maligns any one specific carb, protein, or fat, that's usually not going to stick around. It's more of a fat.
Yeah.
Just look at how the body works. It's so elementary.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of need all three.
In some ratio, some level. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can manipulate them to get a certain effect, but I'm just saying, usually most diets are like, oh no, you got to eat all protein, you got to eat all meat, you got to eat no vegetables. I mean, there's you've seen them all come and go.
Yes. So let's shift a little bit into like business. So,
sure.
Obviously you are this is where we really like align. We are both constant learners. Constantly trying to find a new way, a better way. Like, what are the new things that I can add to my, my toolkit, right? What are some things, if, we haven't talked about this, so, don't let me put you on the spot too much, but what are some things that you've started using recently that have, I don't know, made a difference, made things a little easier or improved your results in marketing and, whatever?
Something I learned from a guy named Rich Sheffer, and I'll tell you who he is, but he was kind of an internet guru back in he's still around, but he was one of those original kind of OG internet who make millions of dollars kind of guys. Yeah. But he was so big on the mindset part of it and how to be efficient. And I learned the whole idea of listening to material, whether it's videos or podcasts at high speed. I listen to you guys at like two and a half times. And what you do is over time, you train your brain to depending on the tonality makes a huge difference. Certain people, I got to slow way back down to 1.8. Yeah. The whole idea is I just want to be able to ingest the exact same material in a much compressed time. So which means now I can listen to 10 podcasts compared to 2.
Yes.
Or videos on the same way. It just drives me nuts for my wife wants to watch something or someone else because they think they listen. All they hear is, to me, it sounds perfect because I've done this for 18 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's been my single biggest techniques for just ingesting huge amounts of material. And of course, the new thing, AI, love it or hate it, is a tool.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about compressing time and cutting down workload and being more efficient. You just can't beat it. You just cannot beat it. That's been a huge thing for me. You said putting in books and it compresses it to here's just the main theme or here's the takeaway. You can get like those 10-minute audio books that people have read a whole book and cut it down to just the basics.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or it's really just about getting more and more good information. And trying to maximize time, compress time. And that's what you see almost any big business mogul. They are so good at time management typically. And it's because they're doing so many things that the average person is not willing to do.
Right.
Or they did that. That's their secret. It's not like they know some secret stock somewhere and they made all this millions and maybe a couple have. But I'm just saying that's what their master skill is. They know how to control time.
Yeah. So, you mentioned, if you were going to go back now and start EFX all over, you think you'd be able to get to where you are in 5 years. So that I was going to ask you this anyway. And so you may have already answered it, but if you were right now, 2025, you decided you wanted to start a new business, what kind of business would you start? What steps would you take beforehand? Like what's your mindset? What's your process? Just ground up. I know this is putting you on the spot, but you have over 20 years of experience doing this. What would you do right now if you started something?
Probably the first thing I would do, I'm not sure what industry necessarily, but whatever it is, I would do what I said is try to look at all the major thing and compress it into some format that I could have on 3 to 5 pages where I really get the gist of the company, how it works, how it's making money, how it's not making money, to kind of root those things out. I can tell you going back a step, and granted, if you're a solo entrepreneur, that's one thing. I can tell you the power of having the right people on the bus and in the right seats, that team, that is the make or break of every and anything. If you do not have the right people, it's going to be a slow, painful process. No question about it. You can overcome that by being, say, a solopreneur, but having the right mentors, people that are way ahead of you who've already done all this and say, no, just do X, Y, and Z. That cuts your learning curve way down. But I think that's what I would do. I'd want to analyze everything and just kind of reformat it into some structure that I know will work, that I know like I can wrap my head around, and it's not just a collection of weird activities, accounting, but how's accounting connected to this? I mean, it just obviously depends on the size and scope of that business, but that's what I would want to do. I would want to have some sort of structure I can look at, kind of like doing the book. I mean, now I can see it, because otherwise I don't work. I just can't work any other way.
Yeah. How important do you think like mentors are, or advisory board or something like that?
I think it's mission critical. We only know what we know. And I have a saying I've told people before, that calls me like that. It's like, if you have a team, no one of us is as good as all of us. Period. End of story. I don't care. And the worst thing you can be, and this is where ego and pride will crush you, you do not want to be the smartest guy in the room all the time. You can be, but if you're that person all the time, you're not going to grow. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why the best golfers, the best athletes, you look at their performance like we'll say golfers, they're singular people. They have like 10 people on their team. They still have trainers, they still have dietitians, they have all these things. Shouldn't they just know it all because they're the best in the world? No, absolutely not. They have advisors on some level helping to grow who they are.
And a mindset is part of that.
You tell me, I've never really seen that anywhere else work. Yeah. There's maybe one anomaly, but to pick a sport, pick something. The top dogs, I guarantee they have some sort of network that they're tied to. It's not just them and their brain power.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the whole golf psychology, or sports psychology, your head, even if you have all the physical ability, your head has to be in the right place to make all of that work.
Yeah. Because that's where you talk about going back to resources and tools. Yeah. You could have literally the best set of golf clubs in the world. Doesn't make you the best golfer. I don't care. You can have a guy a Tiger Woods or whoever's the big name now, could take buy $5 set at a yard sale and crush you.
Yes, I'm fully aware.
Oof. We took a few rounds together.
If only it was just as easy as buying better golf clubs. But see, marketing tells us that it is. Of
course, it's doing its job.
Yeah, there's a whole like education that we could all get from just looking at golf marketing. They're so good. Like, they are restricted to do certain things within like regulations. Everything has to, it can't go, a driver can't hit beyond a certain point, not because of technology, but because it's not allowed. And same thing with golf balls. Like, there are illegal golf balls that you can buy. I'm not going to tell you where or what they look like, but so they're all, it's kind of like realtors. It's all the same stuff. If you're a realtor, your product is the same as every other realtors in your market. So what sets you apart? It's how you position yourself to the market, so anyway, so much. Aaron, do you have anything? Like, I've got a couple other things, but before we move on, do you want to tackle anything?
No, okay. No, I'm good. I was
just trying to get a drink.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did have one question for you. I heard you say, like, if you were to start over, if you were to do it, if you're going to give someone else advice, what would you say? Because you're backed up now, 25 years experience. You're like, I already know what I need to do. You got to break all this down. But what would you say to somebody who's novice, maybe just graduated high school, just graduated college, been working at a job for a while, and it's like, I think I'm ready to start something. And you're like, oh gosh, don't jump onto that bus yet. Here's what you got to do first. Like, I suppose if you were going to head down the road of entrepreneurship, you've got your stick and your bandana. What would be in the bandana?
That's a good question. I think so much of this comes back to, and this again sounds very cliche, but it's true. Why do you want to do it? Do you know why? Well, I just want to be able to pay my bills, or I want to be the first trillionaire on the planet, or whatever. That's going to be what's going to, it's the exact same thing as I'm January 1st, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to 2-3 months later, you look around and you're like, where'd everybody go? They have that emotional component, but you've got to have the other pieces there that are going to keep it going when that feeling has gone away. Yeah. That's what discipline actually is. It's the ability to keep going long after that good feeling of I'm going to do it this time has far faded away. Yeah. And that's where those 4D, we talked about dedication, that sort of thing. So first and foremost, why the heck are you going to do this, and why that industry? There are plenty of people that rushed into remember the fidget spinners thing? Everyone had they would try to get a piece of that because they thought they were going to make millions. And during the pandemic, the people started these mass companies. They were just doing it to make money.
Yeah.
And maybe you can do a quick hit and get in and get out. But if you want something long-term, you better have a true reason behind that, or it will fade. And every day is going to be absolute drudgery. And you'll be going, why the heck did I do this? Mm-hmm. There's some great books. You need to understand some of this better, but it's funny, and don't fool yourself into thinking, well, just because I'm good at X, I can now run a whole company or run a whole business. I mean, you have to be realistic and be very realistic with yourself of, like, for example, you see this happen. This guy is an amazing salesman. He's number one in the company, does 10X what anyone else next to him does. You're going to be the new sales manager. Well, guess what happened? He doesn't have management skills. He's a salesman. That doesn't translate into that whole thing of having other people reproduce what you've done. Things like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Actually reminds me of Michael Gerber, the E-Myth books, so often
that's what I was
tactician.
Saying.
Yeah. Like you're just a tactician and you think that you're, an entrepreneur. It's like, you're probably not. That was actually another one of those great books that kind of held a mirror up to me. It's a lot easier to just be a tactician, to be honest with you, right?
It forces you to look at things with more perspective.
Yes.
Not just, I'm great at HVAC, so I know I can do so much better. If I were to run this company, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Right. I can make all the money. Well, do you know how to run accounts? Do you know about licensing? Do you know about insurance? Well, no, I'm just good at fixing ACs. You might want to stick to what you're doing. Or start that and hire other people, like I said, a team that can do that for you.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to be most successful.
Yes.
If you try to do it all, and I this is what I learned in the first few years, and I was willing to grind, but I did so much myself. You just cannot be good at everything, and just learn to admit, I'm just not good at everything. It's fine. Don't fool yourself. You're going to crush yourself, ruin your relationships. You're going to feel like garbage all the time and live off of caffeine. What is that ultimately going to do?
Yeah.
Because if that's not working, when is more ever the solution to too much? Right. That's really what you need to know.
Yeah.
There's got to come a point when you step off of it and go, oh, okay.
Right. Well, I know me personally, I can be good at a lot of things, but I can't be great at many. And I am too old to settle for good. I'm shooting for great, So what does that mean? if I look at my resources that are available to me and the time that I have, that means I need to be a little more focused with the things that I'm putting my energy into, because I truly want to walk away from whatever it is at the end of the day. I want to walk away saying I did everything I could have, not I called it in, or not I was so spread thin that I barely got anything done, so.
See, and that goes back to where we talked with some time ago, was the whole I'm a loser, I'm a failure. But I can tell you, here's another little one-liner. It's not in the book, but you can take this to heart. Is giving up on a faulty plan is not the same as giving up on your dream.
That's really good. It's kind of like knowing when to quit, right?
Yeah, but people say that as, oh, I'm quitting. No, you've now realized beating this, whatever I'm doing over here, is not getting me there. It's time to switch gears. I still want this goal, this achievement, but this isn't the way to do it.
It's the wrong path.
And they feel like, well, if I don't do that, then I'm a loser. No, never mind. You're smart.
Yeah.
I'm smart enough to know when to pivot.
Yeah, I call it giving up on the route, not the result.
100%. 100%. That's
and alliteration.
You got it in the mind.
Yeah. Because sometimes it doesn't make sense to keep going down that path. And really, I have to, and I do this with a lot of my clients, is I talk to them, which is the most important to you, the result or the route? Because too often people are, I need you to do it my way. And it's like, yeah, okay. So many fights between people are route resulted, not results oriented.
Right.
So people fight about the route way more often than they fight about the result. If you boil it down, most people want the same result, but just how you get there somehow says something about us.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on. It's everyone is looking for the shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look like that guy or that girl, but I don't want to do the work that they did. I mean, I've told people, I said, let me just tell you this. Let's talk about fitness. If I literally had a pill I could give you and transform you, literally, you wake up tomorrow, you will look just like your favorite fitness influencer, whoever it is. Mm-hmm. You'd be the most miserable person on the planet. Here's why. You don't know how to train. You don't know how to eat. You don't know how to maintain that look. You're going to destroy it, and you're going to feel even worse off. It's going to be so temporary that you're going to be miserable. But if you learned that and got there, you've got something that other people don't have. And that's the key. It's the journey. It's that whole process.
Yeah.
That gets you to the result. That is the shortcut, people. Do the freaking hard work.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
You got to learn it and earn it.
I wish I could look like you. I wish I could have a podcast like you guys. Okay. Do the work.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm totally thinking you need a Formulated to Win podcast. Just saying.
Okay. Maybe I will.
Just a little
inspired.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? Just saying that, like, I have wanted my entire life. I wanted a six-pack. And I worked out. I've done dieting. I've done everything. This is probably, and I'm actually kind of proud to say it, at 51, this is the closest I've ever been. I've got like a 4-pack-ish coming. And I'm like, it means so much. I've been working on it now for, 11 straight months. Hard. Probably a little longer than that, but seriously hard for 11 months straight without any failure. Like I've changed my eating habits. I've lowered my portions that I'm eating. I'm exercising a lot more. Like I'm going to get there, but I also know it's going to take another year.
Mm.
And it's like, when I accomplish it, then it's going to mean something. You're right. If I took a pill and I just had it by tomorrow, I'd be like, who gives a shit? I mean, who cares? Like it would be
and then you drink a Gatorade and it goes away. Yeah.
Yes. It would be so nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, crazy.
Well, I can tell you, like,
it really is the journey, I think.
That's it. It's the journey, right? So for me, like, man, I'm not trying to get there quickly. I'm just trying to be better every day, and you have setbacks, right? I did intermittent fasting for like 6 weeks, the last 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, Kre-Alkalyn does something because I gained 3 pounds. Now, what I also did, like, I also started cycling again. And ooh. I realized because my pants are fitting, small, bigger, they're fitting looser. Mm-hmm. I was ticked off. I was like, how in the world is it old age or what is it that I can highly restrict my calorie intake, work out more than I've been working out, and somehow gained 3 pounds. And then I looked at my legs and I was like, oh, that's a lot more defined than it was 6 weeks ago. Wow.
Body composition is the secret.
Yes.
The scale is a great tool, but I've actually seen, I don't know if I can find it right now. There was a girl, she lost 30. Hold on. I don't know what it was. She started on, let's say, 130. After however many weeks, still weighed exactly 130. But if you look at her side by side, you'd be like, that didn't even look real. It was all
looks
body.
like she lost 50 pounds. I've seen that.
Right. And weighed exactly 130 to 130, but her composition changed so dramatically. That's it. Use of scale is just some feedback, but that's not the make or break point.
Right. Which, by the way, like Kre-Alkalyn is obviously not just for like putting muscle on it, like in lifting weights, right? Like, and getting that extra rep and that kind of stuff, working out to failure. It is, I can tell the days that I have taken, or forgot to take, I can't talk. We've been doing this too long. I can tell the days that I've forgotten to take Kre-Alkalyn before I cycle, because it's hard. And I'm having a hard time pushing through and maintaining the like certain watt level or certain speed. All the difference in the world, that. And then like, I'm at the point now where even my day off, I take Kre-Alkalyn because of the brain impact, right? Because as I get older, things are harder to remember. And I want every bit of horsepower that I can squeeze out of my brain that I can get.
Well, I'm glad you brought that point up, because we were talking about creatine earlier. I was kind of giving that base overview. I'm talking about in the past year or two, creatine has seen a resurgence in interest in the marketplace. I'm talking about in all markets, not just fitness and bodybuilding, because now we're seeing brain health. They're trying to tie it to better sleep. I mean, there's all these crazy things that people just didn't consider before, that it's helping Parkinson's patients. I mean, it's wild to see that research emerge on what's going on, which goes full circle back to then everybody and their brother wants to have a product and make it as cheap as possible, so you buy from them instead of us or whatever. We're never going to be that cheap guy. I'm just flat out. I'm happy to lose sales over that, because I know what it takes to get the price down like that.
Right.
I just want to use ours. You're going to be like, there's just something different about it. I don't get it, but it's the quality.
So this is like, probably going to seem like it's out of left field, but how does like the changes, how did the political changes, governmental changes, like RFK now being, where he is, like RFK Jr., like how does that impact you guys? Does it, or, are you already kind of ahead of the game because you are cleaner than the next guy?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much in lockstep. I mean, he's not going to be perfect with everything he does. I think he's looking more at the higher level with, with the vaccine controversies and that sort of thing. There's a lot of, I don't think it will really come from a government level. There's a lot of misunderstanding with like sucralose, which is a sweetener that has been maliciously maligned. And then I've showed people the research on it. Here's what happens. People look at a label and they what's mad stearate? What's all this extra stuff in there? It's like, you almost can't even measure it. We just legally have to show it. It's for like mad stearate is something you use or machines, these you filmed it, these high speed machines that say you encapsulate. To keep the capsules moving through it, there has to be like a lube, if that makes sense. That's what that powder is. You can also use it to, like if a cap has a little piece of air, you can put some in there to fill it. So everything looks the way it's supposed to look. It has zero impact on your health. I mean, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
And so there's a lot of these controversial things out there that I think he's shy of the line, which is fine. I mean, if you're going to clean up the industry in general, the big misconception is going to be they're going to take dyes out of foods. They're going to do all this stuff. It was kind of like the old, what is it? What were the foods? It was not glucose. Gluten. Gluten was a big thing, right?
Yeah.
They went, we can now make gluten-free cookies and all these donuts and stuff. Guess what? It says the same calories. So just because you're improving cereal for kids and taking, say, red dye out or whatever, guess what? It's still the same sugar. It's not doing anything to make it quote-unquote healthy. They're not fixing the real problem.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
That's where it's going to become an issue, because they're going to think, look, we're so much healthier now. Well, you haven't fix the root problem of what people are actually eating. Just that you've taken this one thing out of it, it's still garbage.
Yeah. Which, by the way, little plug, the protein you guys make. I know protein's not your big game, right? Like that's one of your, dude, stellar. And, like, you're not pumping it full of all the junk. Like I know kind of a little bit, right? But when you go to, let's say, a Costco or a big box store, the best price is not always the best product, right?
Yes.
So.
And that's on being this side of the table and knowing how it's made and just raw material costs. I mean, I'm like you, I'm in a Sam's Club or Costco, and I'll just for fun, I'll look and I'm like, that's like below our cost. Like, how are they selling their stuff this way? I don't know if it's just an I mean, it's great advertising. I guess if you look at it as just from pure business, we're not going to make any money, but look, we have all this visibility to people that would never go to GNC or whatever. That's probably it, because I just sit and scratch my head going, I don't get it. I don't see how they can do that. Maybe it's legit, but I'm just saying, from where I sit, I couldn't make those numbers work.
Yeah. I mean, that's good to know.
So real quick, I've heard you mention a couple of products, and it's pretty much only when CJ brings them up. What line of products do you have? Like, I know you said supplements. I know you're EFX Sports, so it sounds like it's sports stuff. Is there like standard vitamins for people? Is there, or is it like all specialty things? What are we looking at?
So our main focus, which is why we changed from All American EFX, which was a moniker of All American Pharmaceuticals. So we just use EFX to make it a brand. EFX Sports. Well, sports is all sports. So whether you play baseball, you're a bodybuilder, we can help you in all those rounds. So we kind of wanted to broaden our horizons and our appeal with that word. So basically, we don't have like 17 different vitamins. We do have a vitamin product, by the way. It is built for athletes. It's called VitaDrive. It's very heavy on the B vitamins specifically. It's strong. It's a very strong. I warn people, like, it says 4, take 2. I think you'll be okay, just to kind of test and make sure your body uses it the proper way. We have a pre-workout product. We have protein, Kre-Alkalyn, creatine. We do have a weight loss product. Again, it's a tool. It's not a magic. It's if you take what you're already doing, you're just compounding the effects of what you're already doing, using that to help blunt your appetite, a little bit of a thermogenic effect with fat burning, that sort of thing. It still comes down to, I'll give you an example of what I was trying to say earlier. We do a lot of trade shows. In fact, we're getting ready to go to Vegas during the Olympia here in about 3 weeks.
Nice.
You've been there.
I've been there.
And I remember having a man come up to the table one time. He's like, well, show me what you got. He's asking me all this stuff, and he's trying to quiz me. And I said, hold on, let me ask you a question. I said, tell me how you train and what your diet's like. He's like, well, why does it matter? I said, I'll tell you exactly why it matters. I don't want you to use my products if that's not right. He's like, what? I was like, the last thing I want is for you to buy all this stuff, tell all your friends it doesn't work, you didn't do it, when you are not doing what it takes to get that result the right way. Because that's worse for me than you actually just making a sale right now and buying these products. He's like, oh, well, okay, man. He actually wanted even more after that. But I'm just saying, that's the key to this whole thing. Going back to the golfing example, I mean, the whole idea of marketing is to get someone to understand or believe that's what's missing. I have to have that. That's going to solve it and make me now the best golfer in the world. Right. Same thing with our supplements. Oh, if I just took this vitamin, that's what's been missing. It might be part of what's missing. It still comes back to doing the right things to begin with and then amplifying it with these products. That's obviously a different message that you're going to hear from a lot of supplement type companies, because their whole thing is just take all our stuff and you're going to work like this. That makes the first sale. I heard a guy say, proof is in the pudding. He's like, no, it's in whether or not they come back for a second helping. I'm like, yeah, that really makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding you correctly, what you're saying is your products are the volume knob for what you're already doing. So if you're already doing bad, it may turn that up a little. If you're doing all the right things, it's going to turn that up a little bit.
Man, this is fantastic. You're better than me at some of this. So that's what I have to say. That's a great paraphrase right there. Beautiful.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, like,
that's how it should be looked at. Again, these aren't magic. They will absolutely help you. They will increase your performance if you're already kind of got it going in the right direction. But that's why you use it. It is a tool. It's leverage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you go to the far end with anabolics and steroid, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That is the supercharging element. I can tell you flat out, if you just took the best drugs, like the best bodybuilder in the world, you will not look like them. It just does not work that way. People say, oh, it's just the drugs. If you saw how those people lived and what they do, you would be like, this is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what they put themselves through. The drugs allow them to do that, but that's not what it is in and of itself. Because that's so disappointing when people say that you're diminishing someone's dedication and hard work by just saying it's just X.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, some of the products that I absolutely love, which, actually are newer, Aminosorb, I love. And I never thought that I did the sample pack, and I got to taste all the flavors before I ordered, and I'm a peach fan. I don't know why, because I wouldn't have said that I like peach, but man, I do not like to work out without it. That one, obviously Test Charge, and I've taken a few different, testosterone support products, right? So this is, not a pro hormone or a hormone replacement. It's just kind of supporting your own testosterone, production.
Yeah. Not a
and Test Charge is bueno. I've taken other things that, okay, we're gonna get a little gross. I've taken other things that for whatever reason made my urine smell like maple syrup, which I guess there's a good and bad in there, but it's like, what's happening in my body that all of a sudden I'm peeing out maple syrup, I guess it's doing something.
Yeah. Well, and actually another product that I should mention, it's kind of a sleeper for us, is joint rehab.
Oh yeah.
So basically what I've discovered is you take creatine and you bond it to esterified fatty acids. And what it will do over time, well, we have two versions. It's in a capsule form and a cream. So that's site specific. But especially for an aging athlete, you're going to have weird joint things kind of start popping up. It's just your body wearing down.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reason people have joint pain, they don't realize it's not just, these are grinding. It's the inflammation around it. So if you can remove that inflammation, now that pain starts to subside. And then we have, like I said, the topical cream you can put right on your elbow or pull muscle, whatever, that helps with that. And we'll say here first, I haven't said anywhere else, we are actually in the process of working on, we're very close to a sleep aid. Because you look at all the energy drinks people take, pre-workouts, just the lifestyle. We've actually very going to say sleep that is the drug, right? If you get a good night's sleep and something to counterbalance that type of thing, that's really where it all happens. That's what people don't realize. To me, I've always said recovery is the secret to fitness. It's not what you're doing. If you weren't, you could go to the gym 23 and a half hours a day. You can be a superstar. Well, we all know that's not realistic.
Yeah,
it happens outside of the gym, right?
Yeah.
It's that recovery. That product will be called Disconnect.
What was it?
Disconnect.
Okay.
Love it.
I'll tell you what I miss. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Mike,
go ahead.
we're gonna need a link to your website. Or do you sell? So, okay, let's talk about that. How do you sell your products? Do you sell them on your own website, or do we have to go to GNC? Like, what are we talking here?
Yes, and yes. So our website is EFXsports.com. So that's where you can kind of see everything. That's our window to the world. But we also sell in GNC. We're getting ready to launch back in the vitamin shop.
Nice.
I think in February. We're on Amazon. We have a huge, tremendous. iHerb is a worldwide version of Amazon. We sell huge there. And then we have a lot of worldwide distribution into, we're in UK, South Korea, Germany. We do a lot of business in Germany, the Middle East. I mean, it's kind of here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. You're like Hasselhoff. You're big in Germany.
Where we are is EFX Sports.
I'll tell you, I'm really interested in looking into the joint health one, especially if it's inflammation. My wife has, it's probably TMI, but arthritis, and I'm in Hapkido, so we're doing a lot of joint locks, and I'm noticing now, like everything, you bend a little too much or you get a little too pinned, and then it swells and it hurts for a day or two, and then it goes away and you're fine. But if I could aid that, all the better. So
Absolutely. And it's something that it kind of builds up in your system, if that makes sense. Whereas the cream is very site specific. I mean, it has, you can kind of smell it's got some methanol in it, but that's going to, go right into where you apply it. Hold the bicep, whatever. Or your hands, you can even put it on your hands, that type of thing.
I need that for my new knee.
Joint stuff is not that sexy, but as you get older and you have injuries, all of a sudden it's like, this is the greatest thing in the world.
Right.
Workouts.
Yes.
Oh man. So, before we wrap up, Brian, if there's one piece of advice that you could give our audience, kind of as like takeaway, your last thing, mic drop moment, I guess, what would you tell them?
I'd sum it up to never ever give up on your dreams. That's what I put in the preface of the book for the dedication to my family. Never ever give up on your dreams. It's gonna be hard. At times it will absolutely suck, but you just have to know going in, if you're gonna be a boxer, guess what? You're gonna get punched. If you're doing martial arts, guess what? You're gonna be in an arm lock at some point. You're gonna land the wrong way, but you want the result. Never ever give up on your dreams. It's soul crushing. So
yeah,
absolutely soul crushing.
Man, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Aaron, what do you think? Was this a good episode?
Yeah, no, I thank you for coming on. Thanks for the book. I know currently I only have the ebook. I think I'm going to have to get the actual book. I really appreciate being able to highlight. There's something about having a physical copy of a book,
yes,
where you get to see the words and they're real versus just digital. I'm a very tactile person, and I think so.
Send me your address when we're done, and I'll send you this copy right here.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Yeah, sign it for me if you would.
Oh, of course.
Hey,
don't tell on you. Sorry.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Hey, but seriously, like this has been a treat, and I love like the fact that you guys got to talk, because that's, I'm hearing mindset over here, I'm hearing mindset over here, and so it's neat to see, you guys connect. And man, Brian, again, just thank you so much for being on. I really do think you need to start a Formulated to Win podcast. But
I got ideas.
Nice. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much. And man, we'll have to have you on again, because I feel like there's so many things we could talk about just in marketing, right? We just kind of scratched the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I mean, this is my passion. I love marketing. I love God, and I love talking about Formulated to Win. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm a pretty simple guy at the end of the day. We didn't even get into the 5 F's, the crush formula. We can, go into much more.
Gosh, right? Yeah, totally. So we have to have you back on. Yeah.
And then just want to say, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I think you're doing a great thing. I don't know how big your audience is or what it looks like, but I really think you're onto something. You have a good thing going, and how you're transparent, how you share with your audience about your foibles and failures, and someone go, oh, wait a minute, I was just getting ready to do that on YouTube or whatever it was. I mean, you've been trying to grow your audience here, especially Aaron. So
right.
I enjoy it, because I just live, eat, and breathe this stuff, and you can't tell.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
It shows.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll continue to, learn ways to not do things, and we're happy to share them. So
yeah, I mean, another thing I've said is, nursing homes are full of world experiences just sitting there. I mean, think about the life these people, they can either tell you why they made it, or they lived a life of regret, and here's what I would have done over. I mean, that's just another little thing. Go visit a nursing home, sit down with people. They're starving for people to come visit with them.
Yeah. Just think of the mistakes you could avoid by learning from someone else, right?
Yeah. You either learn from your own experience, or you learn from someone else.
Yeah. I try to learn from the mistakes of people that I give advice to. Just kidding. All right. So, oh man.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again.
Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, until next week, mind your business.
Mind your business.
In this episode, we talked about Brian's winning formula. Potential times progress equals winning. Whether you're trying to win in the gym, business, or life, you can trust EFX Sports. Unlike some supplement brands, EFX controls quality by making their own products in-house. And no, I don't mean in Brian's garage. Products are tested start to finish, so you can compete with confidence knowing they're pure, potent, and free from banned substances. Looking for strength? Go to Kre-Alkalyn, pH-correct creatine for power without the bloat. Need endurance? Carbon hits quickly and provides steady energy without the crash. Aching joints? Joint Rehab delivers fast, targeted relief where you need it most. Go to efxsports.com and use code WIN for 15% off plus free shipping. And Brian will throw in a digital copy of Formulated to Win to help you unlock your potential and start stacking your wins. That's efxsports.com, code WIN. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.